Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Zia. It has been 1 year since Israeli aggression on Gaza has killed over 41,000 innocent Palestinians, and of course, more than 90% of people in Gaza have been displaced for more than one time. As Israeli strikes and ground invasion continue, now the violence has spread beyond Gaza and into the region. Despite global pleas for ceasefire, the violence is continuing. In today's program, we will be looking at the past year, how this conflict that started with, of course, Hamas's attack on Israel and then Israel's retaliation on 8th October continued and is now taking the whole region into its grip. How the situation in the region has shifted over the past 1 year, we will be discussing in today's program. And the overwhelming question remains, when is this violence going to stop, or is there going to be a stop when we talk about this ongoing violence in the region? To discuss this and more, we're joined online by Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram, who is foreign affairs expert. Welcome to the program. Mr. Khalid, when we look at the devastation that has taken place in the past year, how do you see that when we look at from the lens of humanitarian angle? How do you see that the international perspective on this conflict has changed or evolved in this year?
Actually, if we see it since last 1 year, we have been seeing that the international community, especially the Western community, has not been playing their due role. And especially in last few months, we have seen the American side totally keeping quiet on these inhuman acts by Israel because of the American elections. I've been saying at number of platforms that right now the American government and all the political parties are looking towards the election on 9th of November, which is due to be held just in over a month's time. And we can see that the Israelis on the same time, they are trying very hard to take all the revenge, whatever they feel like, from Hamas and all other stakeholders in the region. I foresee this thing that in the next 30 days, the Israeli attacks are going to be very, very intense, and the humanitarian aid is going to be very, very less, because as we see that many of the humanitarian organizations, including United Nations, has been unable to stop Israelis from this aggression. Although the International Court of Justice has also issued verdicts against Israel, but they cannot be implemented because the West is not ready to listen to them. I view that these kind of activities from Israeli side will be more intense in next 30 days, because whatever ceasefire is going to happen in Gaza, whatever ceasefire agreement is going to happen now, it's going to happen after the American elections.
Right. And of course, with escalation in the conflict, Mr. Khalid, how do you see this situation, and why has international community failed to do anything about it, especially with reports emerging of potential and of course there are evidence of genocide in Gaza?
Well, I would say that international community in their limited capacity have been trying to play their role. We have seen China talking at various international platforms. We had seen Russia talking at various platforms. We had seen OIC giving statements and United Nations giving statements. But the actual work had to be done by the Americans and the European Union. But unfortunately, we had seen Americans taking a back seat, and mainly because this is the election year in USA. Israel, as we know, that if they have to listen or if they have to accept any kind of mediation, it is going to be a Western mediation, and they are not going to accept any kind of mediation by Middle East or by China or by any other country. As far as China is concerned, we have seen that China has been playing a very important role. They have got together all the 14 factions of the resistance movement in Palestine, and for the first time all the factions, they got together, and China wanted that if there is any kind of peace deal, so it should be a wholesome peace deal by all the stakeholders of Palestine. As far as America is concerned, I had told you previously also that since it's the election year, and initially President Joe Biden was taking a lot of interest. We had seen in May and June, we had seen that there was a draft peace accord which had come into the limelight, but then we saw President Joe Biden leaving the presidential race, and after that we have seen him not taking that much of interest in any kind of peace deal. Although the American Secretary of State had been going to various Middle Eastern countries and European countries to talk about a peace deal, but there is no solid peace deal or draft till now which can be deliberated upon.
Still remains a question mark, of course. When we look at this situation, of course, a number of efforts for ceasefire have been made during the past few months and since the escalation of the conflict. But in your opinion, what lessons can be learned from those, of course, failed attempts for ceasefire? And how do you see, what are the main obstacles? Is it Netanyahu's leadership that is, of course, refusing to accept any ceasefire deal?
Yes, first of all, we have to see that the ceasefire attempts were made by whom? The ceasefire attempts were made by some countries and some stakeholders in Middle East. The ceasefire attempts were made by United Nations. The ceasefire attempts were made by the neighboring countries. The ceasefire attempts were made by OIC. So all these are not, Israel is not listening to all these stakeholders, because if Israel had to listen to these stakeholders, they could have listened in last 1 year. Yes, it is about the leadership of the current president of Israel, because he also knows this thing that if he abruptly stops this war, then it is going to be the end of his career, because right now he is at the lowest edge of ebb of his political career. For him, a decisive action in the war and decisive action in the shape of sending all the Palestinians out of Gaza, taking full control of Gaza, colonization of Gaza, expanding Israeli territory into Lebanese territory, or attacking Iran. So these kinds of things, till the time he will not achieve, he feels that his political career is at stake. So right now it is, this war has two dimensions. One, the internal Israeli dimension, in which the president and his cabinet feels that they have to show a solid progress to their countrymen to stay in the political arena. And second is the US angle, in which the Israeli diaspora, which plays a very prominent role in the US business circles, and they are one of the major donors in the US election. So they are also hindering any kind of peace deal, and they feel that till the time tangible results are not achieved by Israelis, this war will continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram, for joining us in today's program. Of course, when we look at the situation in Gaza and beyond, Israel's aggression is continuing. And this is the time more than ever that international community need to do more for not only peace within Middle East, but beyond as well. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care.